Well, hello there. Here to show you the coffee boy coloring here. As you see right here, she had the coffee cup, and along with this, so far as explaining about the different ways of how to make coffee. And first of all, as you have it right here, is that you've probably seen it before. A lot of people, if you drink coffee or if you've seen people make coffee or such and such, it could be cappuccino or it could be tea. It's like it's a cup of hot tea or whatever you call it, whatever type of type of morning energy that you would normally see. That basically is that you got the coffee maker right here, and then along with the coffee pot that you would put on, you see on the stove burner, the cooker right there. But basically what I got drawn right here is basically talking about the coffee. So for his coffee boy, is that this used to be my job. I would probably say that I used to make my dad coffee. I could probably say, if he were listening, then maybe he can remember this. So far as the Father's Day reminder, that that I used to make him a cup of coffee. About almost maybe not every morning. Maybe I probably first started off making it for him in the morning, but then after he would come home from work, that he would like to enjoy a nice cup of coffee. I would probably make him. I would probably say at least 2 cups. I would say maybe about 1 and 4 3/4 or something like that of a cup is what I would make for him of coffee. And a lot of people would probably say that with coffee that I asked my dad the similar question too. Is that, let's just say if the water, if you were to pour the water into the coffee maker, pour water into the cup, you got the mix right in here, and let's just say that you were to pour the coffee right into the mixing tray, and then all the water would mix up to the coffee, and it would come out through there like a faucet. But then on the other hand, that if we remember, no matter if the water is cold or if it's warm, it still comes out pretty hot. I mean, the way it works, sounds a lot like a water heater, like a propane generated, just say, water heater. And I guess you could say that it's basically kind of like a propane generated water heater in a lot of ways, because of the fact about how the coffee maker works. And I guess there's a timer on there. As soon as you plug it in, then it has that type of a water heating technology inside the machine, to where that it would be able to heat the water up to the fast, kind of like a microwave oven. But I would probably say I've heated up water inside of a microwave oven before, and I would probably say at least a 1300 watt, 1400 watt microwave. And a lot of times it would take about 2 to 3 minutes for it to start to come to a boil. And I would probably say that on perhaps that the coffee maker has it to where as soon as you plug it in, and the water is warm, whenever the coffee is made. And I really just think that the type of the heating the heating solution, the water heating solution that's in the maker, that makes it do that. But I really would not know. I guess that's my best guess. But you got the sugar in there along with the cream, along with the mix, and then you got the math, and then of course right here you get the different coffee mix packets and stuff. So you have it to where if you were to in the stores, I'm sure a lot of people have seen it before in the stores, that you can buy the mix. You can have the mix grind up and then have it into like a little container, a tub container. But I remember that my dad used to drink a lot of coffee a lot of times, and of course that you would have it to where you would be able to buy it in like a tub, kind of like this. I know he used to like Folgers. Folgers, I think, was his favorite brand, and of course that you'll be able to buy coffee in a tub kind of like that, in which I guess they come in different sizes. Is that they come in like I think small, medium, and large, but you buy them in different sizes, and then you can just measure them measure the coffee into different scoops. Let's just say that that these markers right here would represent, the amount of people that you're serving so far as the coffee wise. That if you would be serving about 5 people, then that would equal about 5 coffee cups and the amount of mix that you would need in order to be able to serve the coffee. But I remember that when my dad used to make coffee, whenever he would be out of filters, and of course it was kind of a funny story, but the fact is that he would wake up, he would be tired after working a long day at work. This one time that apparently I could not make him coffee because we were out of coasters or whatever it was, and I remember that I'm like, well, you don't got none of those filters, and he's like, well, I'll fix that. So what happened was that he used a sock. I would say a sock that was like this right here. He would use a sock as a filter right here to be able to pour the coffee in. I would probably say, he poured maybe about, I would probably say maybe, 1 full cup or something like that, 1.5 full cup into a sock, and he would stick it into the compartment of the coffee mug right here. Of course, I don't know if it was really the smartest idea, but more likely they could probably say that either a sock. It's like more likely they could probably say that if anything, you can maybe use a sock as an ice pack. But so far as with the coffee filter, I mean that's something that can possibly catch on fire. But of course, he tried that that experiment, and I remember it made a pretty big mess. I mean, it made a huge mess. There would be coffee that would be dripping all over the side right here, and I think on the coffee mug itself, on the coffee coaster, say, and and it would get all over the countertop. And if I remember right, that I think it took him about 15-20 minutes or so for him to clean it up. But he was able to, the coffee came out, but then he told me that it don't taste the same. And I would think that, his comment was that, this coffee tastes like dirt. But a lot of people, I say, coffee tastes like mud or whatever you call it. But a lot of people will probably say that whenever they first drink coffee, that they may have the same opinion. It's like if you're going to add cream to it, or if you may have to add sugar or cream and with the mix. But if you say with the fractions right here, and then the mathematical fraction and along with the notes, is to make that perfect cup of coffee. More likely, what does it take? Really, I would probably say that I mean, it would take a special person, such as a coffee boy or somebody in the cafe or whatever, to be able to do the job. And of course, I'm sure this job. This job right here, I'm sure will be around for quite a while, because more likely they could probably say that with the mixes nowadays, I don't know any way that I know of at the moment to where you can order a nice hot cup of coffee online nowadays. But let's just say if there was, then more likely that you could probably say that okay, what button do I push? If I want to have, would you say, is a cherry flavored dark coffee, and more likely just right click on the mouse, and say right click on the mouse, and then just select whatever flavor. It's like, I like to have this flavor, I like to have that flavor, and then click submit. You see, it's maybe write that down. So far as say is submit, which is like a lot of times it's either continue or it's like submit, and a lot of times that you say submit or confirm. It's like so far as the pre-order, as you say, so far as is with the word order. But I remember that whenever I used to make a lot of coffee for my dad, I would make him about 2 cups of coffee, and a lot of times I remember that I would make him coffee, and then he would thank me for it. But I'm like, well, I don't know why he would